Hi, and welcome back to this listening series. In the first video, we talked about the frustrating truth. Good English doesn't automatically give you a high listening score. In the second, we focused on a major reason students lose marks: deciding too early, jumping to conclusions before the speaker has finished their point. Today, we are taking a crucial next step. We are going to understand that many of your listening mistakes aren't random accidents. They are the result of deliberate, cleverly designed traps built into the test. And once you learn to recognize them, the whole listening test becomes a more controlled experience. Many students leave a listening test thinking, "I was unlucky," or "I made a silly mistake." In other words, they believe their mistakes happen because of things outside their control, like personal error, bad luck, or simple carelessness. I want you to make a fundamental shift in your thinking right now. Those mistakes are rarely just bad luck or carelessness. The listening test is a carefully structured challenge. It's designed to trigger predictable human errors. It uses your natural listening habits against you. The goal here isn't to scare you, but to empower you. If you know the traps are coming, you can prepare for them. Why would a test deliberately include traps? Because it's not just testing if you understand English. It's not just checking if you recognize words, follow grammar, and make sense of meaning quickly. It's also testing if you can listen with sustained attention, patience, and accuracy under exam pressure. If answers were given clearly and directly, everyone would get them. The test wouldn't be effective. So, these traps are the tools that separate the careful, strategic listener from the reactive, passive listener. They are the deciding factors for a high score. Let's start with the first classic trap, the change or correction. Here is how it works. The speaker will present a piece of information, a date, a name, a time, as if it's the final answer. Then they will correct or change it. This isn't a mistake in the recording. It's a deliberate design. Your brain loves the first clear, specific detail it hears. It wants to grab it, solve the puzzle, and move on. So, what happens? Many students hear the first detail, write it down immediately, and their brain essentially checks out, thinking the job is done. But here is the critical truth about this test. It's not checking if you heard the first word. It's checking if you are attentive and patient enough to catch the final operative information, the correction that comes after. The trap uses our natural tendency to decide quickly. Your defense is to ignore that impulse and train yourself to listen for the complete statement. Let's see how this trap works. Listen to this audio excerpt.
The guest speaker for the seminar will be Dr. Emily Jones. Actually, I've just been informed that she is unavailable, so it will now be presented by her colleague, Professor Mark Chen. Yes, he has stepped in to lead this session instead.
See how the trap works? You understand the sentence perfectly. The first name, Dr. Emily Jones, is clear and specific. It's very tempting to select it and move on. But the key is the correction phrase. Actually, I've just been informed. That's your signal that a change is coming. So listen for these phrases. When you hear them, you must know that the first piece of information is a decoy. The test is checking if you listened all the way to the end for the final correct information. In this case, it is Professor Mark Chen. Now, this trap may feel familiar because you have already seen it in video 1. And that's exactly the point. The principle is identical to the Monday to Wednesday example given there. Here is the crucial takeaway. The test doesn't invent a new trick for every question. It often reuses the same formula. Give information, then correct it. What changes is the context, a date, a name, a price, or a location. The trap itself remains the same. It's deliberately reused. So, your goal shifts from memorizing examples to recognizing the underlying pattern. The second trap is the delayed answer. In this scenario, the speaker doesn't give you the answer straight away. Instead, they talk around the topic. They might list various options, provide background context, or discuss related issues first. The crucial detail, the actual answer you need, comes much later than your brain anticipates. This trap is designed to prey on impatience. What happens here is that students often feel the pressure to decide quickly. They hear a seemingly correct piece of early information, guess that it must be the answer, and then mentally check out. Or they assume the main point has already passed and stop listening actively. But the test is checking if you have the patience and focus to listen for the speaker's final conclusion, not just their first suggestion. So, the point is that the real answer often comes after the speaker has explored alternatives and context. Now, let's look at an example. Listen to this audio.
For the group booking, we have a few different price tiers, depending on your needs and budget. There's the basic entry-level package, which has limited access. Then there's the premium package, which includes all events and a meal. Having said that, the option that offers the best value, and the one most groups select, is the standard package.
Okay, did you feel the pull to answer after hearing premium package? That's the trap working. The speaker uses classic delaying language to build up the answer. First, they set the stage with, "We have a few different price tiers." Then, they list the options. There is the basic. And then there is the premium package. But the key comes with the phrase, "having said that." That's your signal. It means a contrast or a conclusion is coming. Only then does the speaker give the real answer. The one most groups select is the standard package. Your defense is simple but crucial. Wait for the question to be fully answered. Don't commit to an option just because it was mentioned. Listen for those concluding signals, phrases like, "having said that," "however," or "ultimately." If you choose before the speaker finishes their point, you will miss the mark every time. Now let's look at what is perhaps the most common trap of all, paraphrasing. Here is the reality of the listening test. It rarely repeats the exact words you see in the question or answer choices. Instead, it translates the idea. The speaker will use synonyms, rephrase sentences, and different grammatical structures, all to express the same meaning you read on the page. If you are simply waiting to hear a word-for-word match, you are setting yourself up to miss the answer. Your job isn't to spot vocabulary, it's to match meaning. Look at this example. Let's break this down. This table is the perfect illustration of the paraphrasing trap. Look at the left column. These are the exact words you see in your question paper, the key ideas you are looking for. Now, look at the right column. This is what the speaker might actually say in the audio recording. You will almost never get an exact match. For example, the question asks about something that's inexpensive, but the speaker doesn't use that word. Instead, he or she uses a natural common phrase, "reasonably priced." Similarly, the instruction says you must book in advance, but the formal announcement you hear uses different grammar and vocabulary. Prior registration is essential. It means the same thing, but it sounds different. Or a text might promise to reduce costs, while the lecturer explains it's a strategy to cut down on expenses. The takeaway here is simple. The test is translating the idea from paper into spoken English. Your task is not to match vocabulary. It is to identify the underlying idea by listening for the equivalent meaning. The final trap we'll cover today is distractors. These are the wrong answers or options that sound correct. They are cleverly designed to feel right, often using words taken straight from the audio or touching on ideas that are related to the topic. Because they sound familiar, your brain is naturally drawn to them. But here is the catch. They don't fully or accurately answer the specific question being asked. They might be true in a broader sense or mention something the speaker talked about, but they miss the precise point of the question. So, the test isn't just checking if you understood the topic. It's checking if you can ignore what sounds right in favor of what is right. It's the difference between general comprehension and precise, careful listening. Here is a perfect example. Listen to this short clip.
Welcome, everyone. If you look to your left, you'll see one of our most celebrated permanent collections, our excellent collection of Roman pottery, featuring pieces over 2,000 years old. This current exhibition actually ends this weekend, so it's your last chance to see it. Now, looking ahead, I want to highlight what's coming next. Our newest exhibition, which opens on the 15th of next month, will move away from ceramics entirely. Instead, it will focus solely on ancient Egyptian textiles, exploring the weaving techniques and symbols used along the Nile. And, in the spring, we're already planning something exciting on Greek sculpture.
Let's break this down. Here is what just happened. You heard Roman pottery clearly. It was mentioned first, and it was described as celebrated and excellent. Your brain naturally latches onto it. It's familiar and sounds important. That's the hook. But here is the critical moment. The question is not asking about a famous collection at the museum. The specific question is about the subject of the museum's next exhibition. The correct answer, Egyptian textiles, is related. They are both historical topics, but it is more specific to the question's requirements. It fits the precise criteria. It is newest exhibition opening on a future date. So what's your defense? It's a simple but powerful habit. Always refer back to the precise wording of the question. Before you finalize your answer, pause and ask yourself, does this option exactly match what the question is asking for? If you select an option just because it was mentioned in the audio, you are falling into the distractor trap. The test is checking if you can connect the correct detail to the specific question, not just recall a familiar word. Let's pause and connect the dots. All of these traps, the corrections, the delays, the paraphrasing, the attractive distractors, they all share a single powerful common thread. They're not really testing if your English is good enough. You already have the language skills to understand every word in these examples. What they are actually testing is your exam mindset. They are designed to see if you can stay calm, focused, and patient under the pressure of exam. The moment you rush, assume, or stop listening actively, the trap works. Your composure is your greatest weapon. It's the skill that allows you to use your English knowledge effectively and turn these design traps from obstacles into opportunities. What should you do with all of this? The solution isn't to memorize a list of tricks. It's to build awareness. Think of it this way. You don't necessarily need more English practice right now. You need strategic awareness. Here is how it works. Simply knowing these traps exist fundamentally changes how you listen. When you expect them, you automatically start listening like a strategist. You'll naturally wait longer instead of jumping on the first answer you hear. You'll give the speaker time to finish their point, remembering that the first detail is rarely the final answer. You'll listen more carefully to the end of clauses, paying close attention to signal words that show the speaker is concluding their thought, because the real answer so often comes right at the end. And you'll double check that the meaning fits before writing anything down, focusing on matching the core idea, not just hunting for an exact word. It's a simple formula. Expect the trap, and you will change your behavior. Awareness is the first step. Now that you know the traps, you can listen strategically, not just reactively. That's the end of this session. In our next video, we will tackle another major reason students lose easy marks, the writing panic. We'll look at how writing at the wrong moment can destroy your listening accuracy and focus, and the simple method to fix it. If you found this helpful, please like this video. It helps others find it. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the rest of this series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.